Here's what happened after 4 years on the carnivore diet. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to share with you how the carnivore diet changed my life and what happened after 4 years of following it. As some of you may know, I've been struggling with various health issues for most of my life. I'm currently 28 and at the age of 21 I was diagnosed with autistic spectrum disorder. At the age of 14 I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. At the age of 16 I was diagnosed with depression and also generalized anxiety disorder. I've had some difficulties with social skills, communication, sensory processing. I also suffered with digestive issues and spine disease as a result of an injury when I was about 14 years old. Now, with all these things at hand, I've tried all the diets, treatments, therapies, remedies, supplements, medicines you could think of. I was depressed, tired and still in pain. I felt like I had no hope for a better future. I was constantly pessimistic despite spending all the money I had on, from low paying, low skill sort of jobs to improve my health. Every single bit of money that I had was spent on trying to improve myself and feel better. Now in 2019, I started working at a vegan health food shop, although I wasn't actually vegan at all. I was actually met with people in a perpetual state of deterioration. I just didn't seem to meet healthy people that are following that way of eating. With that in mind, I understood the value of animal foods and how well they would digest for me. I was curious if, was it possible to do an animal foods diet only? I did something very similar when I was about, say, 15, 16 years old. Now, I competed in my first bodybuilding show using essentially a carnivore diet. I didn't know what it was back then. I was eating cans of tuna and egg. Of course, I got mercury poisoning, which was absolutely horrible. That obviously exacerbated my symptoms of depression and was probably I'd say maybe the onset of what happened there and after with my mental health. How possible is a carnivore diet with a lack of fibre? Well, I say a lack of, and other apparent nutrients. Then one day I started to do a bit more research and I was like, who actually follows this diet online? Who is that out there that can do this? Found Sean Baker, people like that, and I was like, this is a tall, muscular, ripped chap exceeding world records and doing all sorts of crazy things. Well, he could do it. Why not me? Why not me? Now, the testimonials I saw at the time, so this was 4 years ago, were pretty convincing, if I'm honest. Now, if I go back to my original diet that I was following when I was, 125 kilos as a bodybuilder, I was eating about 1,000 grams of carbohydrates a day, if not more. At the time, I was tracking calories for some reason, and I was eating about 6,500 calories every single day without fail. Obviously, that paid a massive toll on my digestive system, in which case eating significantly less food in the form of, mass was actually much better. So for me, it was a win-win. I was sick to death of eating so much food. When I started, I ate a very mixed animal foods diet, so lots of dairy, eggs, fish, meat, all the mainstays of a typical carnivore diet. Now, what I also added was, salt, just standard sea salt, magnesium, taurine and vitamin D. Now, to my surprise, which is against conventional wisdom or understanding, my adaptation period was very quick. I'd say within the first 2 weeks, I was pretty much bang on it. I felt much better really, really fast. So for me, it's quite telling. When I've tried different diets in the past, there'd be a massive gap before I start to feel better, if at all. The most noteworthy thing that I noticed straight away was my digestive system was much better. I felt much better in that area. My stools were normal. I didn't lack fibre apparently, and actually felt really good. And of course, admittedly, chronic fatigue was not put into remission at all. I still felt about the same, but I did notice that down the line, this started to improve. And now this happened around about year 3. So relatively speaking, quite a long time into my carnivore diet journey. Now I attribute this benefit to a lower deuterium content within my body, which I did actually produce quite a good old video for it a little while ago. So what I'm going to do is just link it above here somewhere. Now, I was tracking my blood levels of inflammation and stuff like that, so CRP, for example. And when I was on the carnivore diet, when I first started, perhaps 4 years ago at this point, I'd say about 2 to 3 months in, my CRP levels dropped from about 5 to less than 1. Now, I attribute this to what I believe is the Randall cycle, at least alleviating the activation of it, at least to a great degree. And I made another good video on that, which is just about here somewhere as well. So a few months in, going a bit further down the line, say 6, 9 months in, I noticed my energy levels began to increase a little bit more, my mood improved, my pain decreased. Now, this is quite surprising because I did try everything under the sun at this point. I felt more alert, but also focused, but also calm at the same time, which is quite bizarre because you don't often come across diets which do all that in one swing. Now, at that point in time, I trained in bodybuilding for about 12, 13 years roughly. And what I noticed was, very quickly, my recovery between workouts improved significantly in that I felt better between workouts. I wasn't so bogged down with like low energy, fatigue, brain fog. I could go to the gym and go about my day and do some other things, which is quite a nice relief, if I'm honest. Now, right now, I carry about 110 kilograms of mass, so something like 240 pounds of mass. And that's with the most amount of muscle in my body relative to my total body weight. So that's quite telling about what the carnivore diet can do for carnivore bodybuilders. Another thing was that my skin quite drastically cleared up. I suffered with eczema for my whole life. And I'll say that I did experience severe oxalate dumping very early on my shins, which I'm going to link a little picture to right now. Now, this occurred something like 2 to 3 months into the carnivore diet. But I noticed overall I felt so much better, so I thought, well, I'm not going to stop it now just because I've got a bit of a flare-up in my shins. So I continued, and eventually that began to die down and go away. I'd say by about year 2, all the welts on my legs are pretty much gone. So 2 years down the line, no negatives at all to speak of. But the most amazing thing that I found was that my autism symptoms improved dramatically. I became more social, confident and expressive. Although I am still very introverted, I can still do other stuff as well, which is quite cool. I noticed that I had less sensory overload and I can handle changes and difficult situations and challenges a bit better, which was quite nice as well. And I felt like I was finally living a normal life. So with this bit of experience I had at the time, I started to sort of use my skills and expertise as a fully certified nutritionist to help other people. I met loads of people online that were contemplating, I'm going to stop doing it because I've not lost weight. And I look at the stuff online, I think it's so obvious why you're not losing weight. You're eating too much food. Too much food is usually the cause of why people gain it. So it's usually the same result to get rid of it. Now, there are other reasons why someone might struggle to lose weight, circadian biology, things like that, deuterium depletion, loads of different things that can affect the mitochondrial function of the body, which can impact weight loss. And when I say weight loss, I really mean fat loss. And I'm now actually quite proud to say I'm nearly at a living wage in terms of doing what I do. And I do enjoy doing it. Now, helping other people get what they deserve is quite self-gratifying through the different consultations and packages, services that I do offer. I've also been able to put out over 400 videos as a YouTube content creator over the span of about 14 months. Not only this, but to my surprise, I've actually benefited from meeting like-minded people. So I've met people like Jerome Armstrong, Nicole Malone, Professor Bart Kay, Harry Sopanos, Dr. Sean Baker, Dr. Anthony Chafee, and all the gang at Team GB Carnivores, Dr. Sarah Pugh, loads more different people I've been able to meet, which I would never be able to meet otherwise. And they're all in the same sort of boat as me, bad health in some kind of way, found a way to improve it, carnivore diet, low carb, keto, what have you. They found a benefit doing what I'm doing. However, the carnivore diet was not a miracle cure for everything. I still had some issues that required medical intervention and attention, such as the spine disease that I mentioned earlier. So in 2022, in December, I had to undergo a spinal fusion surgery to correct the damage caused by years of inflammation and degeneration as a result of over a decade of clinical negligence and a major collision during a rugby incident when I was 14 years old. Now, what I'll say is the surgery was mostly successful, but it was a long and painful recovery process. It wasn't easy by any means. Although people watching my channel probably thought it was because they could see how quickly I was recovering from that surgery. For several months, I did have to wear a brace and limit my movements, and it was quite tedious. You have to be so meticulous about how you move and go about your day. I couldn't just bend down to pick something up. It had to be very carefully thought out. And I still live a bit like that now. I do have some pain still, but I'd say generally speaking, it's better in a lot of cases. Now, during this time after the surgery, I continued to follow the carnivore diet, of course, and I believed it really helped me to heal faster and prevent infections. I also did some gentle exercises, physiotherapy to regain my strength and mobility. I'm quite happy to say that I do experience a lot of relief from the diet as opposed to the standard Western diet. but I do purposefully eat off plan a couple of times a month, just because I know I'm going to do it. That's just me. I don't recommend this to people, but if you know you're in a position where you have to eat out of family, you seem to be obligated to do these things, don't change your gut microbiome too much. Keep some things in that you do enjoy. Just notice that if it does severely impact your health, perhaps leave these things out. So it's your own doing, it's your own choice. But that's just a program that works specifically for me. So after 4 years of eating the carnivore diet, how do I feel right now? I feel great. I feel healthy, happy, and hopeful. Now, I'm not saying that the carnivore diet is for everyone. A lot of people are incessant carbohydrate addicts, and no matter what you tell them, they won't believe you. But you don't have to believe me either. What I'd just suggest is try it out for 60 days. If you do have a health issue of some kind, look around it. Look for people online that have had a similar health issue to you and how the carnivore diet has changed their life. And I'm just sharing my personal experience and expertise of what I've found has worked for me. It doesn't necessarily mean it will resonate with you. You can't copy my protocol. I get a lot of people online ask me what I eat and how much I eat. It doesn't matter to you. You're not me. The great thing about the carnivore diet, outside of perhaps, being able to create content and sell services for me, is that it helps people. And there's pretty much no hacks around it. There's no way I can really make money. I'm not a shill for the meat industry. I don't create bias studies. I don't have any kind of take on it outside of helping people to get further along the way in their health journey. Now, if you want more free information, what I would suggest highly is to check out my YouTube channel playlists. I've made a video on almost every topic you could think of in relation to body composition, fat loss, muscle gain, and many on health with different people online. So I strongly suggest you check those out right now. Thanks so much for watching the video, and I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel for more content like this as well. Also, feel free to let people know below what you found most useful for the carnivore diet yourself, in terms of relieving any health conditions that you may have. Thanks very much. Build muscle and lose fat on the carnivore diet.